Hello dear listener, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy watching. It was a typical Friday night in New York City, and Jack Wilkes had just returned home from a grueling day at the law firm. All he wanted was to kick back with a glass of whiskey and catch up on his favorite crime thriller series. However, as he entered his penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park, he sensed something was amiss. "Jack, could you come to the living room, please? We need to talk," his wife, Linda, called out from inside. Her voice carried an unusual weight that made Jack's stomach churn with unease. "I'm coming," he replied, trying to mask his apprehension. When he walked into the living room, he found Linda sitting on the edge of the couch, her hands wrapped around a half-empty glass of wine. She seemed nervous, her fingers trembling slightly as she took another sip. "What's going on?" Jack asked, settling into the armchair opposite her. Linda took a deep breath and looked him in the eye. "Jack, I've been thinking a lot lately, and there's something I need to tell you. I've been seeing someone else." Jack felt the blood drain from his face. "Who is he?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "His name is Alex." "Alex Spencer," she said, her voice trembling. "He's an entrepreneur, and we've been seeing each other for the past few months." Jack clenched his fists, fighting to keep his composure. "How old is he?" "He's 28, she replied, avoiding his gaze. Jack let out a bitter laugh. "So, he's younger than you. Great." "Jack, please don't make this harder than it already is," Linda pleaded. "I'm leaving with him for the weekend. I need to figure things out." "Figure things out?" Jack repeated, his voice rising. "You think you can just walk out and come back like nothing happened?" Linda's eyes filled with tears. "I need this, Jack. Please understand." "No, Linda. If you walk out that door with him, our marriage is over," Jack said, his voice firm. Linda looked at him for a long moment before nodding. "I understand," she said quietly. "I'll pack my things." As she left the room, Jack felt a storm of emotions brewing inside him: anger, betrayal, and a burning desire for revenge. He knew he couldn't let this slide. He had to do something to make Alex pay. Over the next few days, Jack began to dig into Alex Spencer's background. He used every resource at his disposal, from private investigators to his contacts in law enforcement. What he uncovered shocked him to the core. Alex was a con artist, a master manipulator who preyed on wealthy women. He would charm them, take their money, and disappear. Jack knew he had to act quickly. He set up a meeting with his old friend, Detective Mike Reynolds, and laid out everything he had discovered. "Mike, I need your help," Jack said, sliding a folder across the table. "This guy Alex Spencer is a scammer, and he's got his claws in Linda." Mike glanced through the documents, his expression grim. "This is serious, Jack. We need to catch him before he can do any more damage." They devised a plan to catch Alex red-handed. Jack would play along, pretending to be oblivious to Linda's affair while Mike and his team set up surveillance. On the evening of their planned weekend getaway, Jack watched as Linda packed her bags, her eyes avoiding his. "Are you sure about this, Linda?" he asked, his voice tinged with sadness. "I'm sorry, Jack," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need to do this." Jack nodded, his heart heavy with a mixture of sorrow and determination. "I understand. Just be careful." As Linda left with Alex, Jack's phone buzzed with a message from Mike. "We're in position. Stay calm." Jack spent the night pacing his apartment, his mind racing with thoughts of what was to come. He knew the plan was risky, but it was the only way to expose Alex and protect Linda. The next morning, Jack received a call from Mike. "We've got him," Mike said. "Come down to the station." When Jack arrived at the precinct, he found Linda sitting in an interrogation room, her face pale and her eyes red from crying. Across from her, Alex sat in handcuffs, his expression defiant. "Jack, I'm so sorry," Linda sobbed. "I didn't know he was a con artist. I thought he loved me." Jack took a deep breath, his anger tempered by a sense of relief that she was safe. "It's over, Linda. He's going to pay for what he's done. Mike stepped in, his expression serious. We've got enough evidence to put him away for a long time. Thanks to your help, Jack. As the days turned into weeks, the fallout from the revelation began to settle. Linda moved out of the penthouse, leaving Jack to piece together his life from the shards of their broken marriage. He threw himself into his work, finding solace in the pursuit of justice. One evening, as he sat in his office, a knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. It was Mike, holding a file in his hand. "Jack, you need to see this," Mike said, his tone grave. Jack opened the file to find a series of bank statements and emails. It appeared that Alex had been working with a network of scammers, targeting wealthy families across the country. The scope of their operation was staggering. "This goes deeper than we thought," Mike said. "We need to take them all down." Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. "Let's do it," he said, determination burning in his eyes. The months that followed were a whirlwind of investigations, arrests, and court trials. Jack and Mike worked tirelessly to dismantle the criminal network, bringing justice to the countless victims who had been deceived and robbed. Throughout it all, Jack found himself healing. The anger and betrayal that had once consumed him were replaced by a sense of fulfillment. He had turned his pain into action, using his skills to protect others from falling into the same traps. One afternoon, as he walked through Central Park, Jack spotted a familiar face. It was Linda, sitting on a bench, looking out over the lake. He hesitated for a moment before walking over to her. "Linda," he said softly. She turned, her eyes widening in surprise. "Jack." "Hi." They sat in silence for a few moments, the weight of their shared history hanging in the air. "I'm sorry for everything," Linda said finally. "I was so lost, and I made terrible choices." Jack nodded. "We both made mistakes. But we're stronger now because of it." Linda looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of regret and hope. "Do you think we could ever be friends again?" Jack considered her words, the memories of their past mingling with the promise of a new beginning. "Maybe, in time," he said. "For now, let's focus on moving forward." As they parted ways, Jack felt a sense of closure. The wounds of the past had begun to heal, and he was ready to embrace whatever the future held. In the end, Jack's journey had taken him through the depths of betrayal and the heights of justice. He had faced his demons, confronted his pain, and emerged stronger on the other side. And as he walked through the city that never slept, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the resilience and courage that had carried him through the darkest days of his life. Jack's newfound sense of purpose saw him plunging even deeper into the labyrinthine network of Alex's con. With Mike's help, they unraveled a complex web of deceit that extended far beyond what they initially uncovered. It turned out that Alex wasn't just working alone. He was part of an elaborate syndicate that operated across several states, using sophisticated techniques to launder money and evade detection. Mike and Jack spent countless hours poring over documents, analyzing patterns, and tracking the syndicate's movements. They worked with cybercrime units, forensic accountants, and even international law enforcement agencies to put together a watertight case. The deeper they dug, the more they realized the extent of Alex's operations. He had connections in high places, including politicians, corporate executives, and even law enforcement officers on the take. Jack's obsession with bringing Alex to justice began to consume him. His law practice suffered as he dedicated every waking moment to the case. Friends and colleagues grew concerned about his relentless pursuit, but Jack couldn't rest until he saw Alex and his cohorts behind bars. One night, Jack received a call from Mike. "We've got a lead," Mike said. "Alex is meeting with a key member of the syndicate tomorrow night at an upscale restaurant downtown. We need to be there." Weeks turned into months, and Jack and Sarah's friendship blossomed into something more. They shared a deep connection, built on mutual respect and understanding. With Sarah by his side, Jack felt a renewed sense of joy and purpose. As they stood together on the balcony of Jack's penthouse, looking out over Central Park, Jack knew he had come full circle. The betrayal and pain of the past were behind him, replaced by love, hope, and the promise of a brighter future. In the end, Jack's journey was not just about revenge or justice. It was about finding himself, rediscovering the strength within, and embracing the new possibilities that life had to offer. And as he looked into Sarah's eyes, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he was ready to face them with courage and grace. If you leave a comment, tell us what you think about the story you heard. It's important to us and will help us find and tell stories that you find interesting. Thank you for watching us.